everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In my channel, I like to keep things lit, so without wasting any time, let's just get into it. I'm starting. So I'm speaking against the motion national security trumps fundamental rights. Let me initially try to elaborate the very meanings of national security on one hand and fundamental rights on another. When we talk about national security, we broadly deal with protecting the national boundaries and state symbols, which come under threats at the hands of cross-border terrorists and or home-ingrown insurgencies. And when we talk about fundamental rights, we ponder over the very idea of India, which secured freedom from clutches of foreign rulers only less than a decade ago, guaranteed by our holy book, Constitution, through Article 22 and etc., which aim at providing justice, liberty, equality, fraternity of citizens of India.
Anshi, you're definitely one of the better speakers, and your points were also very nice. And I generally liked your overall debate. Deputy Leader of Opposition, that is Namanshi.
Education is the most powerful tool anyone can use to change the world. Free education might seem like a luring idea for moral reasons. But if we realize its impact on both short run and long run for the country, we might have a different image. In a country such as India, with a population as high as 136.64 crore, with 41% of the population under 14 years of age and 50% of the population under 18, the country doesn't have enough resources for free education for all, leave alone the implementation power. We would have to increase the taxes in order to implement free education for all. And if we think about the population who do not have kids and do not support it, do you think they would be okay with paying these taxes? And for people who have the capacity to spend, their first priority would be to ensure a bright future for their kids. And for this, they would have to invest in education. And as Benjamin Franklin rightly said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Instead of free education for all, what we could do is, it would be a better alternative is, in the case of food, the government has nationalized food for such people who cannot afford it, underprivileged. A similar model can be adopted in education as well. Right now, the government spends 5% of its GDP on education. This amount could be increased to help this model. And like the Prime Minister mentioned in their speech, that Sweden adopted free education for all, but later on, Sweden changed that, and by doing that, it only ensured free education for certain people, and that helped stabilize the economy of Sweden. And now talking about the private sector of education, we have realized that the wages private sector pays to this teacher are according to supply and demand. And if there is free education, then the schools which have a wide range of fees would have to reduce their fees accordingly, because people would, since they do not have to pay and they get education, they would not prefer private schools, and this would impact that sector as well. And I would like to conclude by saying, the more you make it easier for the kids, the less they have to struggle and the less is their learning.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Right.
You're saying the lesser they'll have to struggle if we remove the expenditure, but don't you think, how is it related to their struggles? They're still going to be studying and they're still going to be working for it. The only thing is that they would be offered with the opportunity to actually gain access to proper education.
When the kid realizes that their parents are actually working day and night to earn money to spend on them so that they have a brighter future, but when the kid knows that whether he performs, and if he knows that the parents are working hard, he or she would try the best to earn the best marks in the school, work hard for their education. But if they have the surety whether they work hard or they do not work hard, they would always have the right to education, they would always have the right to study, their motivation to study would automatically decrease. I would be starting, that human organ donation should be legalized, and I'm speaking against it. Yes, first I'm saying that. Organ transplantations. It is the surgical removal of a healthy organ from a person and then it is transplanted into another person. The measure of life is not by its duration but by its donation. Although the donation of our organs and the sale of it are two very different things. Every day there are at least 18 people who die because they do not have organs they need. The current legalizations makes it more challenging to receive an organ for a nation. Organs, the National Organ Transplantation Act prohibits organ donors to receive any compensation for it whatsoever. But isn't the black market always there? It isn't like that people aren't selling organs and people aren't getting money for it. It is just that it is not legal as of now. But if this step is taken and organ donation is legalized, it would help people at a large scale. It would help reduce illegal selling of organs. It would help reduce the donors and the family living in guilt because they have done something wrong. They have sold their organs, although they have helped a person. Now, talking about why it should not be legalized, there are several reasons for that as well. First, the illegal harvesting of organs will increase by multiple folds. But if we start legalizing the sale of organs, then do you think poor people who are in severe need of money wouldn't take steps as large as donating both their kidneys or maybe taking a risk which will affect their life? This will cause a bad impact on the society. Not only this, when we donate organs, there is a sense of community in it. We feel proud, and donation is an act of kindness. But when we put a price to that, it would create a bad impact. And there is a supply and demand change. And right now, the demand for organs is very high, whereas the supply is comparatively low. And now, if we legalize the sale of it, only the rich and wealthy people would be able to get the organs, and which would severely impact the poor people, and this should not be the case.
There was a huge improvement in both your speeches. Right, like from yesterday, what I have marked on the relative scale, if I look at it, your today's marking was much higher. Great job over there. Moving on to Namanshi, here again, for the motion you spoke really well. Right, you totally explained to me why sale of humans organs should be legalized. You talk about how you briefly touched upon one more constructive which I was looking for, which was that it already happens. So if you legalize it, you can keep a check on it. You briefly touched upon that too. You should have elaborated a little more over there. It would have been a clear victory for you. Coming on to against the motion, again your argument over there was a little weaker. You could have spoken, like you again touched upon the point about poor people having to sell their organs just to get money, which is a great constructive. But at the end of the day, you had to elaborate on that a little more. That is where I feel that your victory became a little less clear, but your switch was immaculate. So that's where you really, that's the one differentiating thing between Sia's and another speech versus yours.
So let me just explain how the debate actually went. So in the first round, there were 6 people from our school and the whole team got selected. Then in the next round, out of those 6 people, 3 of them were selected. Then in the last round, we were given the topic on the spot, and then out of those 3, only 1 was selected. And I ended up winning the debate. It was a very nice debate. There were new challenges and new experiences. I learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video too.